Alright, let's talk useful tool modifications. Now, I'm not talking about modifying your power tools. Really, you shouldn't be doing that. Hand tools, it depends. Now, this is probably one of the greatest modifications someone showed me many years ago. I don't even remember who it was, honestly. I have an idea, but not for sure. Here, you can see I've notched out about 1 5/8 inches out of this and about 1/4 inch of depth. And the reason for doing that on my carpenter square is quick squaring. Boom, look at that. Beautiful. So this part of your stud should be pretty straight, right? Now, the reason you don't use, let me grab this here. The reason you don't use a speed square for this is because during the manufacturing, these legs can be a little bit different. Up to 3/16 different, and you want this side, not this side, to be perfectly square. That can happen with studs too. So sometimes you can go like this, and you can see there we got about 1/8 of an inch maybe. Now, that's it's not as important to have your studs as perfectly square as possible, but when you do that, you want to use the back side because these legs can differ just a little bit, where your back is always going to be the same. Now, let's see, maybe this will be good. Hopefully this is a good example. Let me see. No, this one's actually pretty square. They're actually pretty clean. That's unfortunate. Well, let's try one of these other tracks. These are a different brand than the ones that I got earlier. These, I don't know why those are softer. These are a little harder. Let's see if these are any different. Looks like that one's pretty good too. That one's a little closer. And there goes my tape measure. There we go. There's a good example. Okay, so from this piece of track, you can see I've got a gap right there. And yet we're clean right there. When you put this across, we're good. So what you want, or the reason for that notch, is so that you can quickly and easily square over or under. If it's say for up here, when you drop a stud down, you can throw that. This is really great for long pony walls. You can use your laser and set maybe every 32 to 48 inches, set a stud, and then go through, get them all nice, then go back through, throw these on there, clamp your other side, screw it in. Go another couple studs, throw it on there, clamp it, screw it in. And you will be perfectly square. Now, you could say, oh, I want to use my torpedo level. Well, there's a reason it's not the best practice to use a torpedo level. And the reason is, especially with like pony walls, if you don't have them perfectly aligned, or perfectly plumb, then when you throw your level on top, it might be level, plus due to imperfections across the top, that could throw off your reading, and also if your level's just not calibrated good enough anymore, that'll throw it off too, where your square, unless you really screw this thing up, your square is always going to be good. So if you make this level, or say it's the top, either way, if you level it across, and then later you get this put perfect, now this is not going to be level anymore. Because say your wall's tilted just a little and you got it level, and then you tilt the wall, oh, now you're not anymore. So if this is perfectly plumb, this will be perfectly level. Same with the top. So basically, if that's level and this is square, or sorry, if this is plumb and this is square, that automatically makes this level. So rather than leveling it individually, you just want to hold it square. And then when the bottom and the top are perfect, when your bottom and your top wall sections are plumbed in perfect, they will be level as well because they are square. So that's something you could do. Like, let me give it a good example down here. Something that we were working on, but we kind of paused on for a little bit to get other things done. A good example would be like, now this is going to be a wall, but we have to jog it. But this would be a good example theoretically. If we have, say, this is going to be a long soffit right here. If you tried, if we were doing it with just a capping it with a piece of track per se, if you tried to level it right now with all the studs kind of this way and that way, it'd be impossible. So what you can do, use this, flip it there, and you would attach your front face to your laser, do this, put your carpenter square with the notch in it on there, and square it off and clamp it. And then once you get this all trued up and plumb, the bottom will automatically be square and level. I guess I forgot to talk about the reason for this modification, but I think you may have already seen it if you have a good eye or a good thinking mind, which is important for the trades. Having a mind to think. Stop, observe, and think. If you noticed, that notch, if I were to hold it like this, you can see now there's a gap, so it is not square. Now we are tight on that stud. So this is a relief cut, and the reason I haven't notched out so much is because with heavier gauge track, it's gonna protrude a little bit more. And also you notice screw heads, which can, on exterior, you can have hex head screws, hex head tech screws. Sorry, I'm not looking where I'm pointing the camera there. So this allows you to go past the screw. You can go right over the head of the screw, just like that, and not have it interfere with you getting your square. So that is the purpose of this modification. This thing makes things go so much quicker on pony walls and soffits and things like that. You can just go. And you want to use the hard side whenever possible, because that's going to be your straightest bet, whereas here it's a little more difficult because it kind of bends in, so if it kind of waves or something, it'll be harder. But as long as it's not really bent, you can still get that right there. Try to keep this square as straight as possible, and you'll have really good looking framing. That'll give you, when they put the windows in here, everything should be super square, with the exception of maybe tape and float. Guys, or I should say the guys putting on the corner bead might not be the most perfect, or the plywood that we got to put in there first might have a little bit of warp to it, but you'll know your metal is dead on. And just like with a good foundation, excuse me, as I say, it gives you a good foundation, so even if other things are not perfect, you know the base is, and you can work with that.